that said, let's go ahead. Let's dig into the BFL Weekly Update. We've got a tournament to talk about this time, which I'm really excited about.
It feels like it's been forever.
It has been forever. We started the season off in the Gator Division on Lake Okeechobee. Benny Townend caught 27 pounds, 9 ounces for the win. It was his first win, and he sort of did it the way you would expect. He was flipping. He did it on the south end, and we're going to let him talk about that right now.
It's pretty good, just something I've been working for the last 4 months. I've been going out there every weekend, just focused just on that tournament. Just trying to stay focused and just learn an area and trying to make the most out of it, and not worry about what everybody else was doing on the other side, the north end and other parts of the lake, knowing that every bag that's been winning tournaments has been coming out of, down on the south end. With the water being higher this year, the fishing up north where the tournaments are usually won, like the mat fishing, just hasn't been happening because of from what I've been hearing, it's just the water height, with it being 1.5 foot higher, the fish are just pushed so far back in the stuff that boats aren't able to even get to them. So, I knew with the way the south end looked, knowing it was the best water on the lake, and I've been catching some pretty big bags out, just a lot of just good above average fish, I knew that I could go down there and catch 18, 19 pounds, and if I just needed one big one, and then once I had the 18, 19 pounds, I just went hunting for a big one, and I found her. My main bait was the Gambler Why Not, just pitching it on like a half ounce, just to open pockets, in the grass, because a lot of these guys are out there throwing the swim baits and stuff, and you're fishing in a crowd of boats, you got to figure out a way to slow down, and I was throwing that on a Heroic. It's a new lineup of rods that are coming out from just a local guy down here we're just building rods, just specific for fishing South Florida, just grass, like thickest, nastiest stuff. We're coming out with some pretty serious flipping sticks. So I was pitching that half ounce on a Heroic 710, 1530, and just pitching that Why Not into the open pockets in the grass with the wire grass down there. When they hit it, if you don't get them coming, they ain't coming up. Once they get down in that grass, you lose them every time. Pitching that on 65-pound braid. It's just pretty much, doing that, and then in between, the little pocket holes and stuff, I just swim some swim baits, and that's how I filled out a quick limit, was just throwing swim baits and stuff like that. But once I knew that I had about 17, 18 pounds, I went fishing for a big one, and I knew what I had to do to catch a big one, and I knew what I needed. So I spent the rest of the day, and it was had about 3 hours or 2.5 hours left to fish, and it wasn't 30 minutes later I caught that 10-2. I told my co-angler I pulled up into just an area that I had fished 3-4 weeks ago, and I pulled up there, and there's no boats there, and I was like, she's in here, and I hadn't even caught a big one out of that area, but it's just the water, everything was right. So when I pulled in there, I told him, I said, man, this is where she's going to be. And I bent over, I picked up that flipping stick, and the first pocket hole in the needle grass I came across, I pitched it down there, and I don't even think it hit the surface. I think she was just sitting there looking at it. When that thing went just an inch below the surface, I didn't even feel for it. I just reeled down and set the hook. Yeah, I just knew, when that big fish, the way them big fish hit down here, it's like somebody took a baseball bat and hit the tip of my rod with it.
So, Kyle, congratulations to Benny Townend on his big win. And we've got a write-up on the website of that. We've also got a write-up with a little bit of Robert Crosno, the second-place finisher, a little bit of his pattern. You and I made some guesses prior to this event.
We did, on weights, right?
What the winning weight would be.
Yeah.
Do you remember what yours was?
Not exactly, but I want to say it was 28 something.
It was 29 and a half, and I guessed 31. So we were both wrong. You were a little less wrong, though.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, so I win, basically, right?
Oh, yeah, you win. And sort of on the predictions note, next week we're going to do a lot of predictions on the podcast. I've been thinking up things we can predict, from Rayovac wins to, the obvious stuff like who wins AOI, and I think we could have some fun next week talking over some possibilities that are sure to be wrong, but
I like it.
Interesting nonetheless.
I like throwing out guesses.
Did anything about this tournament jump out at you just from I was interested to see X standpoint?
Not really. I think it's kind of about what we probably both expected from Okeechobee. I did think the weights were slightly lower, but if you look at the results, it's pretty stacked. There was a handful of 19-pound bags, a bunch of 17, 18-pound bags. It looked like normal Okeechobee. The one thing, actually probably the most interesting thing I saw was third place Paul Malone, my guy from Iowa, down there catching fish. 22 pounds and some change for third place.
We've had winners before from Canada for this event.
Oh, yeah. Like everyone escapes or tries to escape and go down there and have some fun and get their season rolling.
Yeah. No, I agree, though. The weights, they were a little bit low, but they had some depth to them. There were a lot of solid bags. It didn't drop off super quickly, which was kind of cool to see.
No, 30th place was 15 pounds on the nose.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. The other thing was this field had 229 boats.
So many people.
That is crazy. And it's awesome, too. There's nothing better than having that many people in it. The lunker was worth $1,000, which is fantastic. That doesn't happen that often. So it was a really cool event. A great way to start the season. And I think the next BFL is the 31st or the 30th. It's coming up after this next Rayovac, I believe.
I believe you're right.
And it should be an equally good time. And that has been the BFL Weekly Update. For more like this, check out the rest of the FLW podcast at flwoutdoors.com or on iTunes.